No,
Okay, sorry about that.
no problem.
I'm here. Put this on screen. Hopefully this will work. I have to second. Okay, share screen here. Okay, is that showing up?
I see a black screen. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Um, on November 17th, that's if 2 weeks ago. So up to the end Tosefta? That's all right. Yeah, it was up to. Okay, in Tosefta. This is Parakas in the screen version and Parakeh in the text version. In Tosefta the Rabbi Chian. Turns into Tosefta Rabbi Chian, Vadai he who tarza. Um, so Atharat Su means it's accepted. No, it's Tir Tza with a mapping Hey. He edited and formulated it. Miula Masaimla Milsa Ibiyome the Rebbe Tartza Basre, but it's not clear to us if he did it during Rebbe's lifetime or afterwards. He didn't live long after Rebbe, so I'm not sure what difference it makes such a difference. Havlo Slavik Batardi Itratson Hilchos Mishnah Seinu, but it's no doubt that after the resolution of the Halachos Mar Mishnah, Itartson Tosefta, Tosefta came next, afterwards. Umir Tosefta, the Biran, the Besar, Masnisinu, the Lion Tinyon. It's clear that the Tosefta are after the Mishnah and that they are upon the Tosefta. Um, so the Rabbi Rabinowitz asks, who cares? Rabbi Chia did it during Rabbi's lifetime or afterwards. Um, perhaps he surmises that perhaps the nafkamina would be that whether Rebbe himself saw the um, the Tosefta, but it's clear for the next paragraph that it certainly was not. Uh, There's no. Oh, let's see the next paragraph. A base. Blood Pashilani beyond Rabbi Nachnav Rebbe or Basrei. We don't know if Rabbi Chia predeceased Rabbi or not. Yeah, it's quite possible he predeceased him. The Mithamina Banose, because it said the Parakanose, which is where um uh, uh let's say Isha, where is this? Uh,
Tubos.
what?
Pacific two boats.
Tubas. Okay. Is that down here? Yeah. The Kamasin Nosi Al Shiva Rabbi Chanina Bar Chama Yesh Shiva Rabbi Chanina Bar Chama Yesh Barosh. Rabbi in his last will and testament, which is listed there in last Perek Subas, said Chanina Bar Chama should be the Rosh Hashiva. Karmina Vahika Rabbi Chia Dadat Minei. The Gemara asks Rabbi Chia, who was superior to Rabbi Chanina Bar Chama. Matai it's Nachnav Shel Rabbi Chia. There's more answers that now Rabbi Chia already passed away at that point. Va Makshina, and the other Gemara asks, Va Mar Rabbi Chia Nir Isiki Rosh Rabbi. Then Rabbi Chia say, I saw Rabbi's kever, Va Raditi Olodmos, and I cried upon him. Tu Amar Rabbi Chia Osam Shemes Rabbi, Badla Kuduna. says that uh, the the day Rebbe Chia died, Kokuna was negated, meaning that Rebbe Chia related that they allowed Kohanim to go to Levi of Rebbe. The Tuk Shechor Rebbe Nichnas Rebbe Chia Bakro, it says that when Rebbe got sick, Rebbe Chia went to visit him. For Armina, it says, Ibo Esema Efuch. Either it's the opposite. It's true that Rebbe said, I saw the Kev Rebbe Chia, and Rebbe said that day Rebbe Chia died, and Kshechol Rebbe Chia Nichnas Rebbe Etzlo. You have to change if Rebbe Chia died first. Because everyone else came with Rebbe Chia. It's a mitzvah Saba, since Rebbe Chia was involved in mitzvahs, he was a big Marbitz Torah. So therefore, as it says, he used to go around from city to city teaching Chumash and Mishnayos. Great. So Rabbi Nasi said, I'm not going to disturb him by making him the Nasi. He's involved in higher, more pressing needs. I'm a Masapkali. So we don't know who died first, Rabbi Chia or Rebbe, depending on which Gemara's answer you take there. But the rabbis do say to Miyome the Rebbe Itartan Tosefta, that in the days of Rebbe the Tosefta was worked upon, and the uh, um, somehow I guess it was under his his supervision somehow. And this can be derived from that which says in Mesechus Chagiga. Tahanu Almei Shei B'Shavusi Rebbe, those bandits, those gangsters, who were in the neighborhood of Rebbe, Bnei Achchosei de Rabbi Yochanan Gudgoda. They were either the nephews of Rabbi Yochanan Gudgoda through his sister, Amar Bnei Barte Rabbi Yochanan Gudgoda, or the grandchildren of Rabbi Yochanan Gudgoda through his daughter. Kolei must have Ayel Rebbe. Every time Rebbe would go, the Beit Medrashah, they weren't bandits. No, they weren't bandits. Almei, no, they were mutes. They were lame, ilmim.
Okay.
So those ilmim, mutes, who were either the nephews of Yochanan or his grandchildren. Because I must have Al Rebbe, the Beit Medrash. Every time they went to the Beit Medrash, have an Aile the Yase Kamei. They would come and sit in front of him. Merachshon Sivose, they would move their lips and their heads would nod. They couldn't speak, but they were seemed to be intelligent and absorbing what was happening. But Rabbi Rachmi Elias, Rabbi died for them, but you'd see when they became healed. And they came known that they knew everything. They were big Talmidei Chachamim. So you see that Tosefta was somehow already being worked upon in the days of Rebbe, because these people who Rebbe diving for, they knew the Tosefta. Okay. Udam Risa, that what you asked them, when the question was Rabbi Sherira was asked, that Mara Rebbe, Mara Kosa Rebbe, okay, if those was worked upon during Rebbe's time, whether it was finished or not. So why did why was Rabbi Chia in charge, right? Not Rebbe. So there's a language in the printed version, in the Rabinowitz's version, my low custom Rebbe Tameh, which we don't have in the screen version. And why didn't he? It's the same idea. Well, why did he write down all the rationales it gives for the halachos and the mishnayos? Were the Rebbe to have wanted to write and compose everything which was learned during his day, Arichan Mila would be very long, but Yisyakon are very heavy. Rebbe Koyt Varim Tikain, Rebbe took the primary aspects. Because of close, he wrote general principles of Lishna Kaito and a light language. That feel a light language meaning a terse language, something which is a brief. That feel that even for one word, Migmar Mine Kamatom, he learned several extrapolations of logic, and piles upon piles of halachos, gedolos, one many flows, wonderful, many great and wonderful halachos. The B'siyata Dishmaya, Isamra Masnisin. Because the Mishnah is written B'siyata Dishmaya. And that means it's written with a Ruach HaKodesh. So it's written with Ruach HaKodesh. It has this condensing uh, of the many different halachas in its text. So that was a special malacha which required, I guess, all of Rebbe's focus and concentration. And therefore, Rabbi Chia came, he did something else. He expanded in the Brisa details and branches to those very terse and overarching principles. Okay. Veruba the time of the Pshitim Marvachim Brisa, and most of the halachas, which their rationales, which are expanded upon and detailed in the Brisas, Ikar Dilhom and Maslisin. They're primarily found in Mishnah. Not that their primary root is to be found in the Mishnah. And we rely on the primary bases of these Brisas, which are embedded in the Mishnah. Korean Tinius, like it says in Maseches Tainus, he says here, the parak of Seder Tanios. Alpha Tlasa, Ilfa Tala Nafshi B'Yisrael the Spinoza. Famous story. Ilfa was a friend of Rabbi Yochanan, and they went out initially to involve with themselves in commercial activities together. And Rabbi Yochanan heard a baskol that said that if he goes back, he'll become the Rosh Yeshiva. So he went back to the Rosh Yeshiva. And Ilfa went out and continued his commercial activities. And he came back several years later. And he wanted to demonstrate that he had not stopped learning. And it says, he hung himself by the mast of a ship. Amr said to symbolize his commercial travels. So then Amr said, Rabbi Yosef asked me a question from the body of knowledge put together by Rabbi Chia and Rabbi Yosha. In other words, the Tosefta. The low Pashtina and Masis. I'm not going to resolve for the Mishnah. The feeling me scared is fine. I'm going to cast myself in the mast of the ship, and I'm going to drown myself. So, and they asked the question, and he got it right. So, one question, two questions, whatever it was. So the point is, Alma Kamad Ika with the Rabbi. Here, Rabbi Yosha, everything which is in the Brisa of Rabbi Yosha, Isla the Mishnah Mislisan, you can derive from the Mishnah, and that's what Ilfa was saying. What I worked on when I was away in my business trips, I worked on this, and I have a fundamental and a broad understanding of how everything in the Brisa has a root and at least a hint to it in a Mishnah. Okay, so the when he had to start Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yochanan went back and he didn't. And when a Tana, somebody came to test him out and told him the Bryce, what about the Bryce? I'm 2 shekel b'nai b'Shabbos. Very moving. Let's say litin lem sela and nois lem sela hamani. The person said, "Give it after my death. Give a shekel to my children every every week, and they really need a sela, which is more than a shekel. So we give them a sela. So Ukum Ragam Meir, he says, going like a Meir who says in the Mishnah, mitzvah kind divrei mace. It's a mitzvah to fulfill the words of the mace, and the mace here had in mind that that they should give them as much as necessary, but to try and give them a minimum, but as much as necessary in order to sustain them. Okay, so this is taken as an example of how we find the Bryce embedded in the Mishnahs. Mitzvah kind of mace is a Mishnah. The Bryce of the Shekel Levonai is hinted at in that Mishnah.
Okay.
So we're Rabbi, a place where Rabbi Chia in the Brisa comes to argue on Rabbi. We don't listen to them. We don't paskin like the Brisa. So he's going to bring down an example of it at some point. Perhaps right here. Rabbi halacha b'stam nisan, such as something where Rabbi saw the halacha a certain way, and he made a stam mishnah. Avagav dahavi above plukta meikara, even though it was machlekes to begin with. V'kar asar Rabbi Chia first the plukta he meikara, and when Rabbi Chia comes and he tells us that it was initially a machlekes. Now Rabbi Chia is not coming to argue Rabbi. It's not doing that. He's telling us initially it was a machlekes before Rabbi Paskin that it was a machlekes. right?
Right.
Uh, uh, um, Avagav the stima b'masnisin, even though it's in the Mishnah, it's a stama. In other words, it doesn't break down the machlekes. I would say because it's a stam Mishnah. I'm not sure why it says avagav. Um, so he says, I don't come and see something. We do like the Mishnah. V'logtin and sugi and the isma plukta rabban ramei Rabbi Yossi. We don't learn the sugya where there's a machlekes or a banan in arguing Meir or Rabbi Yossi. Klipiyat by halak Rabbi Yossi that when they argue, no, look at the in the Islam plukta rabbanan Meir the rabbanan where Meir Yossi even if in the Bryce we find this machlekes are Meir and Rabbi Yossi and keep pleading their value and we have principle when they both argue look Rabbi Yossi we that's true if we find the machlokas in the Mishnah. But if we don't find the machlokas in the Mishnah, Hechz the Sasim Rabbi Meir, Ray wrote the time like Meir, despite the principle that machlokas are Meir Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yossi, and that's what would emerge from the Brisa. Because time we have dinner, we do like the Stam Mishnah. Okay, so even though the Brisa cross references the machlokas, we just ignore that machlokas. Um, Avohecha the parish Rabbi Plukta Masnisin of the Kesuki and the Alma. But when Rabbi did specify Malchus Mishnah, then we do like we normally do, which is okay. We look at the Tanoim, we see who we normally pass on like. Meir Merkach Rabbi Yossi Merkach Rabbi Yossi, right? Because of the Chia time of Rabbi Meir, the Ava Poli Rabbi Yossi Masnisin, the Sassan Brights of Rabbi Meir. What about the opposite way? We're Rabbi Chia to see to prefer Rabbi Meir's position. In a machlokas he had in a Mishnah with Rabbi Yossi. And Vasasa Rabbi Rabbi Meir. And he made a stam brisa like Rabbi Meir. Doesn't matter. Right? We don't basket Lo Makabin. We don't accept that. That doesn't work the other direction. Nachum Shamed Rabbi Avo Rabbi Avo. Like Nachum the Shamish Rabbi Avo asked Rabbi Avo. Where is this? Almost been base on the base. Okay. Stam Asisa Maglus Brisa. Bye. We have a Stam Mishnah Maglus Brisa. What's the status? Amalei look Stam Asisa looks like Stam Mishnah. Maglus Stam Asisa Stam Brisa. What about the other way around? Closed in the Mishnah and a Stam Brisa. My Amalei Rabbi Loshno Rabbi Chia Minaylo. If Rabbi didn't learn it, that to make a Stam Mishnah, then Rabbi Chia, what right did he have to make a Stam Mishnah? So Rabbi Chia Tamidi the Rabbi Hava. So Rabbi Chia is the student of Rabbi. Umayagam Rabbi Hava Amar. And whatever Rabbi taught him, he would say, "For late, Rabbi Chia, Ella might is the Rebbe." Uh, the way he interprets it in
Not like the Tosefta.
yeah, the way he interprets it in the Rabbi Rabinowitz interprets it is that from the name of the Marie Bruno named Marik, that Rebbe was more bucky than Rabbi Chia, and therefore he must have had another proof from elsewhere to paskin against the normal standard of Rabbi against whatever standard Rabbi Chia had. So there we didn't bring down the two sides of Machlekes. Everyone relying on Rabbi Chia, who was not as big a bucky as Rabbi. That's the Marik. Uh, that's Marie Bruna, name of the Marik. And Marik himself, however, writes something else. He writes that Rebbe was smarter, sharper than Rabbi Chia. So therefore, it's not Bekias, but Iyun. So it's a question so whether Rabbi Chia's Bekias was a bit larger, his Iyun was larger, was greater, but that's a, but for one of those reasons we paskin like Rebbe. Vafilu Davka Duka the Mila de Masnisin Duka or Davka. Um, Duka Yeshla Daik. Even when you can confirm language of the Mishnah, the Mishnah says Machra Brisa Behedya. He says about Sheshla Daik. In Lashon Mishnah Shadavar Mesim Mutar Utaset Number Perishu Asor. Okay, so this email is let's see, it's like yeah, feel the duke of the male masis makir Brisa Behedya Kahi Plukta the Mavi Paris Aimed. I mean, Tufta the Rapapa Tufta, and it says the Gemara asks Kasha Rapapa says parts claiming is mutter. In other words, you only need 51% structure in order to consider area walled in for Shabbos purposes. Even 50% is enough. And Gemara brings the evidence against Rapapa and says Tufta, and then it says look, Abasi Rapapa. And after it says look, Rapapa, that parts ke omed is mutter. You don't need omed murbel parts. Parts ke omed is also mutter. Makshin tufta behilchasa. And Gemara asks, what do you mean? Now you ask a tufta and there's a hilchasa. Can in? Yes, and answer Mishum the daika the masisin kavase, because the Mishnah is inferred like Rab Papa. It says the Ketani Shloye Prutzos Yiseres Abina should have more open spaces than there is standing structure. But the inference is that if as long as it's 50-50, it's okay. So I don't think I guess the tufta was her brisa. When it says but they asked the tufta, so he's not bringing down the tufta here in the text. But there was some tufta they asked there on Rapapa, which seemed to indicate from a brisa that halachas you need oimer ruler parts. And where it says, even though the brisa seems to go explicitly against Rapapa, nevertheless, since the inference of the Mishnah is like Rapapa, so everybody basking like Rapapa. So Mishnayos are supreme in all respects.
Okay.
Okay, I think we'll stop here.
Nice.
All right. Both texts start a new parak. Parak Vav in the written text and parak test in the text on screen. And it seems that this is going to be complicated. Okay, so we'll leave the complications for next week.
All right. Shka, thank you.
Next week, I might not be able to learn. I'll be in touch with you.
All right. I'll be back in Israel next week. Just
I said I might be going to Baltimore, so I might not even be back for nighttime. So probably not going to be back on time.
all right.
Worse, since you're in Israel, it makes it worse. So unless I might cancel my trip, but if I go, I won't be able to learn.
Okay, be in touch. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.